mission is incredibly unique. We want to start a feeding frenzy. We want these sharks to gorge themselves to see if they shift their attention from looking for prey to reproduction.
Dr. Craig O'Connell's theory is based on the results of recent studies at shark aggregation sites around the Bahamas.
They only come together for certain reasons, food and mating. And at these particular sites, there's a lot of evidence that these sharks might be mating.
To test his theory, Craig's assembled the perfect team, including Bahamian dive master and shark wrangler, Alonzo Curry.
These are wild animals that we're dealing with, so they better be ready to have some sharks get up in their face.
And ecologist and freediver, Rosie Moore.
We're gonna throw massive amounts of chum in the water with me, Craig, and Alonzo, and I am beyond excited and also a little nervous.
We're going to work with two of the most formidable predators on the planet, the tiger shark and the oceanic whitetip.
Both species aggregate in the Bahamas. And with aggregation sites, you actually see both males and females coming together.
Both species engage in notoriously violent feeding frenzies, but that's not all they're known for.
Tiger shark is an absolutely massive shark species. They can reach over 18 feet long, and they're also in the top 3 most dangerous shark species on the planet.
Ferocious as tiger sharks can be, the team's other target, the oceanic whitetip, could be the shark species responsible for most deaths at sea.
Oceanic whitetips actually have a reputation for being one of the deadliest sharks in the world due to them eating off shipwreck survivors.
Oceanic whitetips will frenzy when the bait's in the water.
These are two of the most formidable predators in the underwater world, and they're incredibly important to the functioning of that ecosystem. But their populations are dwindling. They might go extinct in our lifetime.
But if feeding frenzies play a role in their reproduction, scientists might have a new tool to help bring their numbers back.
Learning this can help us find a way to protect them and save them.
But to prove the feeding frenzies excite these sharks enough to mate, the researchers have to get up close and personal during the mayhem to collect the freshest data possible.
We want to collect something that's invisible to the naked eye.
Female sharks actually release something called a pheromone to signal to the males in the area that they are ready to mate.
Part of Craig's theory is that during and after feeding frenzies, production of pheromones increases.
Essentially, these are odor molecules that are passed through the water column, and the females are hoping that those reach the nares of the male sharks. These are two openings where water is constantly being sampled.
Once the pheromones enter the male shark's nares, they fit like a lock and key, with special receptors that let the shark know there's a female close by who's ready to mate. To capture these pheromones for analysis, the team will use a specially designed piece of equipment they're calling the PCD.
This is our pheromone collection device. This right here is going to collect water, and hopefully in that water, we'll get those pheromones. Check this out. So it closes just like that. We'll send that water sample back to a lab. We can test it and see if there's any pheromones in there, which would be absolutely incredible. We're gonna get a water sample near the cloaca, and there's no telling how they're gonna respond. The females have a cloaca, which is an opening to their reproductive system, and the males have 2 extensions from their pelvic fins. Those are known as claspers, and they utilize those to inseminate the females. So we have all the technology. We have a ton of stuff to capture video. You have the bait?
Got the bait. I'll show you it once we get out there.
All right. We're gonna get into the water, and hopefully we're gonna iron out all the kinks.
What Craig and I want to do is get samples to see where their pheromones are at currently before we add some chum into the water and we get right in the mix of a frenzy.
Rosie will also dive with an underwater camera to look for other telltale signs of shark mating.
Shark reproduction is probably one of the most relentless and vicious things in the animal kingdom. It's violent.
Male sharks initiate mating by biting around a female's gills.
You can actually see visible cues on a female shark that she has recently mated, such as bite marks. So this means that we can capture images to determine if some sort of mating behavior was actually taking place.
3, 2, 1. Let's make our way down to the sea floor. That's where the tiger sharks are hanging out. Let's do this. Now these reef sharks are super territorial. This is essentially the cleanup crew on this reef.
Although not as formidable as tigers, at up to 8 feet long, the swarming Caribbean reef sharks pose an additional threat to the dive team.
All right, Rosie, we're in the perfect spot right here. These tigers are gonna show up any second, so be ready with your camera. Rosie, on your right, on your right. Tiger, that's a massive tiger shark coming in.
A 15-foot-long female tiger shark locks in on the dive team. This is exactly the type of shark they want to get pheromone samples from.
Coming in! Oh no! It's the sampler!
This large female's attack on the PCD triggers it to close before Craig could get in position near her cloaca.
We're completely surrounded by tiger sharks, and we haven't even put a piece of people on it yet.
Rosie takes identifying photographs of all the passing sharks. And while they're only seeing females, they do notice something interesting about them.
Couple of these sharks and bite back to her be pregnant. PCD is reloaded. You have eyes on that big female. Where'd she go? Here she comes. I hear female coming in. All right, Rosie, here I go. I'm going for it. Watch my back. Nailed it. Got a sample. We got our baseline sample. Let's move over to the cage and advance to the feeding frenzy. Let's do it. Alonzo, let's drop the bait.
1, 2, 3.
Here it comes. It's dropping right in front of us. Here they come. Here it comes. Here it comes.
The giant female tiger shark they took a baseline sample from arrives on the scene.
She's massive. I really want to get a sample from that big female.
But to get the freshest pheromones possible, Craig needs to obtain a water sample close to her reproductive organs. The other sharks in the fray aren't gonna make it easy.
This is absolutely crazy. They're absolutely shredding the bait. Top side, this is absolutely crazy! There's floating fish everywhere, we're cloud of sharks.
The sharks make quick work of more than 300 pounds of bait. and the large female tiger shark shifts her attention to the underwater cameraman nearby.
Oh no! Oh, that was close! It's the steel chaos down here! It's super dangerous! We just gotta be super careful down here with them!
4 more tiger sharks arrive to pick at the scraps. But the battle for a place at the dinner table has kicked up tons of sand and reduced visibility for Craig and Rosie.
The sharks are marking up the water! These sharks are super amped up right now, and they could come from out of nowhere! Whoa! Oh, this one's trying to get in the cage! That shark absolutely destroyed the PCD. I gotta use the backup, Rosie. Let me grab it. PCD is reloaded! Here she comes! I see female coming on! These sharks are all over! Here she comes again! Here she comes! Fire! Go for it! Go for it! I got the sample! I got the sample!
With the post-feeding frenzy sample collected, Craig and Rosie make a break for the boat.
Oh my God. I have never done anything like that in my entire life. It was absolute chaos, surrounded by all the reef sharks in the area, lemon sharks, tiger sharks. They weren't just going after the bait, they were going after us at one point. It was insane. The most important part is we're safe. Second most important part is we got our water sample. Rosie, what just happened?
It felt like I was like inside the tiger shark's jaw.
Did you get some photos?
Yes.
I got the pheromone sample. We survived. So good
You
job.
survived.
But we have one more dive. We gotta do the fin cam.
The pheromone samples are just one piece of the puzzle. Craig theorizes that after the feeding frenzy subsides, the close proximity of male and female sharks could lead to mating activity. And he has a plan to get his eyes on what happens next.
A fin camera is probably one of the most sophisticated and beneficial pieces of technology that we have in our arsenal. We slap that onto the dorsal fin of the shark, and then the shark serves as our underwater spy.
It's pretty cool, but how are we actually gonna put it on the shark?
This camera can be spring-loaded here. So we're gonna place that on here. We're gonna add tension. And we're down there, I could use this device to give me some distance from the sharks and clamp it onto their dorsal fin.
After 24 hours, a water-soluble release mechanism dissolves, popping the fin camera off, which floats to the surface and transmits its location to the crew via satellite.
It's the absolute perfect tool to figure out what's going on. Are they reproducing? Are they mating?
Hey, Rosie, on your right! Huge tiger! Look at that thing!
The large female they've been dealing with all day appears above the divers.
I got it! I got it!
Rosie needs to get within a couple of feet of this giant tiger in order to deploy the camera. And to help her, the safety divers begin releasing bait to lure all of the other sharks closer.
Come down! I got it! Rosie! Here she comes again! Perfect placement! Oh, look out! Oh, man! Get that on, go across! Good job, Rosie!
The following morning, the team receives a ping from their fin camera close to the deployment site.
Alonzo, over there.
Hi. Got it, guys.
Got it.
Let's check this thing out. It's still intact. We recovered the fin cam. It's like Christmas morning. I get to watch all the footage, and hopefully there's some evidence of mating. Oh, check that out right there. The footage was amazing. We got to see how these animals navigate their environment. We did see some absolutely massive females, which could potentially mean that these animals were pregnant. That means that this site is incredibly important to the reproductive behavior of this vulnerable predator. We still have to analyze those pheromone samples, but in the meantime, we're gonna head to our second location, Cat Island, where we're gonna get face-to-face with oceanic white-tip sharks.
On a mission to see if feeding frenzies lead to sharks mating, Dr. Craig O'Connell faces off with massive oceanic white tips.
We got our baseline, and it's time for the feeding frenzy. Let's move over to the cage. I'm feeding. Top side, Alonzo. Let's get the crew baiting.
Roger that, roger that.
The team begins with a smaller piece of bait to draw as many white tips close as possible. First white tip's taken a bite. It's not long before the others join in.
It's like they materialized out of nothing. Outside. It's heating up. Let's deploy the big bait.
All right, guys. Big bait coming in. Get ready.
Craig's yet to obtain a feeding frenzy pheromone sample, but the team saved their biggest bait for last.
Ready?
See if I can get a sample. Here she comes. Here she comes a little bit closer.
Roger that.
With their feeding frenzy sample in the can, the team moves on to the last step of their mission, placing a fin camera on one of the white tips to see if the frenzy ignited any mating behavior. Rosie is freediving, which allows her to move quicker in the water. This could be a huge advantage to getting the fin camera on one of these fast and agile sharks. But it also makes her a target.
Being at the surface and splashing around isn't the best thing to do with these oceanic white tips.
While Alonzo hangs by Rosie at the surface, Craig watches for sharks from below.
All right, here we go. On the count one. One's coming in. One's coming in. On your left. On your left. Oh, here's another one. Keep your head on a swivel. Here we go. It's heating up. This is the one. This is the one. All right, let's do this. You got this! You got it! Woo! Absolutely incredible! I can't believe it!
24 hours after the feeding frenzy,
Back on the starboard side.
the team returns to recover their bruvs
There he goes.
and their fin camera.
Something happened with the fin cam here at Cat Island. It was only on there for 3 hours. It was supposed to be on there for 24 hours. Something bumped it off, and I don't know what.
Oh, yeah, man.
Holy cow! Give it up!
Look.
Woo! We got to get this memory card in the computer and watch the footage.
I'm so excited.
With the data all gathered, the team packs up, and Craig begins the long process of analyzing the water samples and the dozens of hours of underwater footage. After analyzing all the footage and receiving results from the lab, Craig calls in Rosie to discuss the findings.
You have to check this out. It is absolutely incredible. So let's just take the initial look at the bruvs. Check this out. If you look right around the gills of this shark, that is the perfect jaw impression. And what that tells me is that a male came in on this female, bit right around their gills, right around the pec fin, and they made it.
All those lacerations are extremely fresh.
They're fresh. It just happened. You could see some red, some blood right here. We have evidence sometime between the end of that feeding frenzy and the end of our bruvs deployment, mating occurred with oceanic whitetips. When you look at what we got from Cat Island, it's exactly what we were hoping for.
But the fin camera might hold more evidence of potential post-feeding frenzy mating activity.
Remember the fin cam detached prematurely?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Whoa, it almost looks like something bumped that camera off.
Yep. Originally, I thought it was a failed mechanism. If you look a little bit closer at the fin cam, there's some tooth impressions right here. So something actually bit the fin cam and it came off that way. Now, if we watch the footage, and right here, there she goes. She's coming back around to check it out. Now look at this shark. That's a completely different animal. To me, it could have been some sort of mating event, or it could have been the start of a mating event.
So we actually have possibly 2 mating events captured here.
Likely 2 separate mating events that occurred at this site, all within a really short time span. So we're in the right place at the right time.
I am absolutely ecstatic after we reviewed this footage. I can't believe everything we got. I can't say for sure that that was a mating behavior that knocked it off, but it looks really promising.
Now I have another result to share with you. The lab just did the pheromone analysis. There was elevated reproductive pheromones evident in the water after the feeding frenzy. We analyzed the water samples from Tiger Beach and we didn't really see any change in pheromone concentrations. But when we were at Cat Island, there were detectable changes in pheromone concentrations.
So compared to the baseline samples that we originally took, what did the elevated pheromone samples look like?
Almost twice the concentration, which is clear and irrevocable evidence that those were reproductive hormones and that was triggered after they were feeding. The fact that we did get this massive payoff with the oceanic white-tip sharks is absolutely incredible, and I couldn't have asked for a better result. Good work.
Overall success.